What's up, fight fans? Welcome to Mr. Mustache MMA News. Today, I want to discuss really exciting upcoming middleweight matchup: Kelvin Gastelum versus Vicente Luque this Saturday, UFC 327, UFC Miami. But guys, before we get into it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly. Help the channel grow. All right, guys, this is a fun fucking fight, right? You have two former welterweights meeting in the middleweight division, where I know Kelvin has been a middleweight for quite some time, but he's more of a natural welterweight who just was really never able to get his weight correct. I mean, he even I think came in at 191 in his last fight. So even middleweight now has kind of been a bit of an issue. But even when he misses weight, he still kind of shows up to fight, right? Like he is still at 34 years old. He is still you can I don't want to say he's out of his prime. I just think that he is just out of his weight class. And that's just kind of been his issue where as time has gone on, these middleweights have gotten bigger, bigger, and bigger naturally. Where Kelvin is just kind of, he's been that same dude, but he's just such a good, gritty fighter. He's able to slow the fights down. He's really able to kind of capitalize off of some of the over aggression and powerfulness of his opponents. Sorry for a bad word on there. Like the Joe Pyfer fight is a really good example where Kelvin was getting tuned up early on in that first round, but as that fight progressed, he was really able to capitalize on the lack of speed of Joe Pyfer, where as he started to really kind of slow down and kind of gas out a little bit, you saw Kelvin use a lot of just his more precise striking, getting Joe, catching him with some pretty clean shots with his hands, and probably took the third round in that fight. And that's one of those fights where I wish it would have been 5 rounds. I'm really interested to see how that fight would have played out. And we've seen Kelvin; he's done very well against middleweights throughout his career. Is probably why he stayed there as long as he has. At one point he was supposed to fight, I think, Robert Whitaker for the belt before Whitaker had that weird like hernia injury. But here with against Luque, who former welterweight making the jump to middleweight, a guy who at one point, what he did to Mike Perry's nose, it's like everything that is what made Vicente Luque so good, his chin, just being able to stand in the pocket and trade, land harder shots, be able to take your best shots. It's kind of, we've now seen the wear and tear. We've seen the mileage kind of catch up to him. And what has made him so good is kind of what has been putting him away and why he's been losing fights. What we see here, kind of started about 4 years ago with his rematch with Bilal Muhammad, where Bilal just fought a fucking phenomenal fight, found a lot more success in that fight, was able to switch levels. But going into the fight after that in August of 2022 against Jeff Neal, Jeff was the first guy to really put Luque away. With Luque, he beat Luque in his own game, right? And tested the chin and kind of, we saw the first chink in the armor of Luque. He took some time off, had the fight against Rafael dos Anjos, where he, kind of grapple fuck, did what he had to do to kind of get the victory over RDA, just kind of used his physical abilities in that fight to just kind of grind out, a decision victory. But then the fight with Joaquin Buckley, almost 2 years ago now, where he just, again, got bullied, beat at his own game, and got put away there in the second round, where it just showed Buckley was more explosive, more hungry, just wanted it more. Came back, had the fight against Blood Diamond, put him away like almost immediately. It just showed that there was levels, right? Where Luque, you do put him up against a guy who's not ranked, he's going to dispatch that guy. But now riding a 2-fight losing streak against Kevin Holland, where he got subbed, he got Anaconda choked in that fight, and then they had the fight with Joel Alvarez, where the length was just something he just really could not get in on him in that fight. He just kind of got outclassed throughout the entirety of that fight. So here against Calvin, I don't see him being able to find a lot of success. I see him trying to make it dirty, but I think everything that Luque does, I think is going to work against him, against Kelvin Gastelum in this fight, where I think Calvin is, I think he matches the speed of a welterweight at middleweight. I think that he still stays fluid. I think that his boxing, I think that he's going to be able to kind of keep. I don't think he's going to exchange in these brawling situations. I think he's going to be able to just kind of catch Luque at the end of his shots. And I see a stoppage victory for Kelvin Gastelum against Vicente Luque here this Saturday. I mean, I think the writing's on the wall with this one. I think Luque. I think it's just a matter of durability in this fight. It's just a matter of durability. And I ranted for like 5 minutes on this one, but I think this one has a lot of context behind it. These guys have been in the UFC, have been at the top at a long time in their own respected weight classes, and to see them kind of, I would have never guessed this match to ever happen. And this is a fun, fan friendly fight, but I think at the end of the day, Kelvin, I think is just going to be too physical. I think that he can wear the damage. I think he's more durable, and I just think that he's a better striker. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Who do you guys have? Do you guys have Luque? Do you guys have Kelvin? And does Kelvin make weight? That's another big question. Does this fight even happen? Does Kelvin even make weight? Watch him weigh in at like 193. But guys, that's going to do it for today. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the fight. That's going to do it for today. Mr. Mustache, MMA News out. Let's fucking go, fight fans.